Geography of the United States explained. Let's explore the fascinating geography of this vast country. The U.S. spans North America, covering an area of 9.83 million square kilometers. It ranks as one of the largest nations in the world, with land accounting for 93% and water for 7%. The coastline stretches for nearly 20,000 kilometers, boasting a diverse range of landscapes. The United States shares extended borders with Canada and Mexico. The northern border is the longest international land border globally. Its geographical features include mountains, plains, and lakes. The highest point is Denali in Alaska, while the lowest is found in Badwater Basin, California. The U.S. is home to the Missouri River, the longest river in North America, and Lake Superior, the largest freshwater lake by surface area. Diverse climate zones range from warm summer continental in the north to tropical in the south. Each region offers unique natural resources, including coal, gold, and timber. However, the U.S. faces several natural hazards such as hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes. The Tornado Alley includes areas with frequent severe weather, while hurricanes impact coastal regions. The Ring of Fire contributes to earthquakes and volcanic activity, especially in California and Alaska. Understanding the U.S. geography helps us appreciate its environmental issues. Deforestation, pollution, and severe weather challenges highlight the ongoing need for sustainability. The nation has a vast exclusive economic zone, enhancing its maritime resources. In summary, the United States features a rich variety of geographical landscapes and climates. Each area contributes significantly to what makes America unique. So, whether you're curious about natural wonders or looking for travel inspiration, remember the diverse geography of the United States. Demographics of the United States. A comprehensive overview of the current population statistics, growth trends, and the diverse makeup of this vibrant nation. The United States, home to an estimated 342 million individuals as projected for 2025, is the third most populous country globally. Since the 2020 census recorded approximately 331 million residents, the population has steadily increased. It's essential to understand how density, birth rates, and death rates contribute to this growth. Currently, the population density stands at about 86 people per square mile. The birth rate is recorded at 10.7 births per 1,000 people, while the death rate remains at 9.2 per 1,000. As of 2023, average life expectancy is estimated at 78.4 years, with men living approximately 75.8 years and women around 81.1 years. Fertility rates are at 1.62 children per woman, illustrating a shift in family dynamics. Next, let's examine the age distribution in the U.S. The population is composed of approximately 21.5% under the age of 18, 36% aged 18 to 44, 24.6% between 45 to 64, and 18% aged 65 and over. This data highlights the aging trend in the population, which has implications for healthcare and social services. Our exploration of the demographics wouldn't be complete without addressing the ethnic composition. Currently, white Americans account for approximately 57.8% of the population. In contrast, Black Americans represent 12%, and the Hispanic or Latino population has surged to 18.7%. Asian Americans are now one of the fastest growing groups, with a growth rate of 35% over the past few years. This highlights the increase in multiracial families and the diverse tapestry of cultures in America. Language speaks volumes about the nation's diversity. While English is the primary language, nearly 13.2% of the population speaks Spanish at home. The variety of languages enhances the nation's multicultural identity. We must also address immigration, a significant factor in shaping the demographics of the U.S. Recent reports indicate a substantial influx of immigrants, accounting for a significant portion of population growth. By 2024, net migration is projected at 3 new migrants for every 1,000 residents, which significantly impacts demographics. The trends of population growth and diversity are palpable and ongoing, with projections indicating that by 2060, non-Hispanic white Americans will represent 44.9% of the population. The United States is moving towards a more multicultural future. It's crucial to monitor these demographic shifts and their implications for society. In summary, the demographics of the United States portray a nation that is diverse, evolving, and at the forefront of global changes. Understanding these shifts is vital for addressing the opportunities and challenges within this complex society. The structure of the United States. Understanding states, territories, and governance. Have you ever wondered how the United States is structured? With 50 states, territories, and a federal district, it's complex. Let's explore this fascinating setup. The United States of America is a federal republic. It consists of 50 states, a federal district, Washington, D.C., and 5 major territories. Each state and the United States itself operates as a sovereign jurisdiction. The 10th Amendment empowers states to govern over areas not assigned to the federal government. Each state has its own constitution, government, and representation in Congress. Congress consists of the Senate and House of Representatives. Each state elects 2 senators. Representatives are assigned based on the latest census results. Additionally, every state selects electors for the Electoral College. This body elects the President of the United States. Although the federal district does not have senators, it has a non-voting delegate in the House and electors in the Electoral College. Congress holds the authority to admit new states but cannot alter existing state boundaries without consent. The United States has control over 14 territories. 5 of these inhabited territories include American Samoa, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Many territories are uninhabited. Puerto Rico is the largest territory, both in population and area. Meanwhile, Kingman Reef is the smallest territory. Territories can have different statuses, such as incorporated or unincorporated, which determines how the Constitution applies to them. The largest state by population is California. It boasts over 39 million residents. The smallest state, Wyoming, has around 577,000 residents. Interestingly, Washington, D.C., has an even larger population than Wyoming and Vermont combined. Alaska is the largest state by area, spanning over 665,000 square miles. Rhode Island is the smallest, covering just over 1,500 square miles. Both Alaska and Hawaii were the last 2 states to join the Union in 1959. 5 inhabited territories have limited local autonomy but cannot vote in federal elections. However, they do have non-voting delegates in the House. This unique arrangement reflects the complexity of governance in the U.S. In summary, the United States comprises a federal system with 50 states and several territories. Each state's autonomy is protected while cooperating with the federal government. Understanding this structure invites a deeper appreciation of American governance. The economy of the United States. A comprehensive overview. Imagine the vast economic landscape of the United States, where New York City stands as the world's principal financial hub. The U.S. dollar leads global trade as the backbone of international transactions. With a fiscal year running from October to September, the U.S. is part of several trade organizations, including the WTO and G20. As of July 2025, the U.S. population exceeds 342 million, with a staggering GDP of $30.5 trillion. Among the nations, it ranks first in nominal GDP and second in purchasing power parity. In terms of GDP growth, projections tell a modest increase of 2.8% in 2024, followed by 1.8% in 2025. The economy thrives on a blend of agriculture, industry, and services, with services dominating at 80.2%. Household consumption makes up 67.9% of the GDP, reflecting America's consumer-oriented market. However, Inflation also casts a shadow with a CPI of 2.7% as of June 2025. Income inequality presents a significant challenge. A Gini coefficient of 46.5 indicates high income disparity, with about 11.1% of the population living below the poverty line. In 2024, the labor force comprised over 168 million, with an employment rate of 62.6%. Yet, the unemployment rate reached 4.1%, highlighting ongoing challenges in job recovery. Key sectors include high technology, healthcare, and financial services. With notable external partnerships, the U.S. had exports worth $3.191 trillion and imports amounting to $4.110 trillion in 2024. A rapidly aging population combined with rising debt poses concerns for future GDP growth. National debt exceeded $35 trillion, raising issues about sustainability. The Federal Reserve's role in monetary policy stabilizes the economy, maintaining low inflation and unemployment. As the world's largest economy, the U.S. seeks to balance innovation and industry growth amid the complexities of international trade. As we conclude this overview, it's vital to consider the impacts of climate change on the U.S. economy. Recent reports underline the systemic risks it poses, indicating that action is crucial for sustainable economic health. The naming of America, a historical perspective. Have you ever wondered how America got its name? This story begins shortly after Christopher Columbus's death in 1506. The name, America, first appeared on a world map on April 25, 1507. German cartographer Martin Waldseemüller labeled the land we now know as South America. He drew inspiration from Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian explorer. Vespucci was known for his vivid accounts of exploratory voyages to the New World. Interestingly, there are other theories. Some suggest the continent may be named after the Immerse mountain range in Nicaragua. Others think it could be traced back to Richard Emmerich, a merchant from Bristol, England. In modern English, North and South America are viewed as separate continents. Together, they are often referred to as the Americas. This notion of America as a single continent persisted well into the 1950s in the U.S. Many American geographers eventually argued that North and South America deserved distinct names. However, this distinction did not occur globally. In many Romance and Germanic languages, America still refers to the single landmass encompassing both continents. The earliest known use of the name America can be traced back to Waldseemüller's maps in 1507. These were groundbreaking, as they depicted the Americas as separate from Asia. An accompanying book claimed the name should honor Vespucci, implying both Europe and Asia were named after women. As time passed, notable scholars, like Heinrich Glerian and Gerardus Mercator, began using the name America in maps. By the 1538 world map, the name was widely recognized. In 1874, a new theory emerged. Thomas Belt introduced the indigenous name of the Immerse Mountains in Nicaragua. Jules Marcoux supported this idea, suggesting America stemmed from this local term. They argued the name could also mean the land of the wind. Another perspective links the name to Richard Emmerich, who may have funded John Cabot's 1497 exploration of North America. However, there is no solid evidence to support this theory, nor a consensus on the origins of the name. Indigenous groups have also proposed alternatives. In 1977, the World Council of Indigenous Peoples encouraged using Abya Yala instead of America. This reflects a broader movement against colonial naming conventions. In summary, while most credit Amerigo Vespucci for the name America, the truth is more complex. The name draws from explorations, geographic interpretations, and even indigenous languages. Each perspective offers valuable insight into history. The colonial era. Foundations of the United States. The colonial era transformed America from a wilderness into a thriving society. Between the early 16th century and the American Revolution in 1776, European powers explored and settled vast territories. European powers like England, France, Spain, and the Dutch Republic sought riches, land, and new opportunities. Initial attempts often failed, like the lost colony of Roanoke. Yet, resilient settlers finally established successful colonies. The diverse settlers brought unique cultures and beliefs. They included Dutch, Swedish, and English Quakers, Puritans, Catholics, and German immigrants. Each group contributed to a rich tapestry of colonial life. Life in the colonies was harsh. Early settlers faced diseases, starvation, and conflict with Native Americans. The Atlantic slave trade began, leading to an economically driven society that relied heavily on slave labor. Colonial America developed distinct regions. New England had small farms and towns centered around trade. The middle colonies became a melting pot of cultures, fostering diversity. The southern colonies, rich in soil, established plantations focused on cash crops. Religious persecution was a driving force behind many settlements. The Pilgrims fled to Plymouth in 1620, seeking freedom to practice their faith. Maryland was founded as a haven for Catholics. British mercantilism dictated colonial trade. The colonies existed to benefit the crown, creating tension. By the mid-18th century, colonial resentment grew due to increasing taxes and regulations imposed by Britain. Wars, including the French and Indian War, united the colonists. They shared experiences fighting alongside British forces, which fostered a sense of identity. However, post-war taxation policies stoked discontent. Growing dissent culminated in revolutionary fervor. Activists like Thomas Paine and the Sons of Liberty rallied for independence. Events like the Boston Tea Party symbolized the colonies' struggle against British control. In summary, the colonial era shaped the cultural, economic, and political foundations of the United States. It was a time of exploration, conflict, and diverse communities that laid the groundwork for a new nation. Understanding Native Americans, history, culture, and demographics. Have you ever wondered about Native Americans and their rich history? Let's dive into their unique story and vibrant culture. Native Americans, also known as American Indians and Indigenous Americans, are the original inhabitants of the United States. According to the 2020 census, approximately 3.7 million individuals are identifying solely as Native American. When combined with those identifying as multiracial, this figure rises to nearly 9.7 million. Native populations are predominantly located in Alaska, the western and midwestern U.S., with significant communities in California, Oklahoma, and Arizona. Communities thrive despite facing historical and contemporary challenges. Their languages are diverse, comprising more than 300 indigenous languages alongside English and Spanish. Most tribes practice various belief systems, often incorporating traditional spiritual practices along with other religions. The impact of European colonization led to dramatic population declines and cultural transformations due to introduced diseases, violence, and forced relocations like the infamous Trail of Tears. Native Americans were perceived through distorted lenses, often leading to horrific treatment and severe loss of life. When America was founded, tribes were seen as semi-independent nations. Federal treaties governed their relationships. However, the Indian Appropriations Act of 1871 marked a significant shift as it ended the recognition of native nations as independent. The Indian Citizenship Act of 1924 granted citizenship to Native Americans, but many states denied them voting rights for decades. From the 1960s onward, Native American self-determination movements emerged, advocating for rights, better living conditions, and cultural resurgence. Today, several tribes run successful enterprises including casinos and financial services, generating significant revenue and fostering economic growth. These communities often face ongoing struggles such as poverty, racism, and health disparities. Many Native Americans reside in urban areas, adapting while striving to uphold their cultural identities. Let's consider the complexity of Native American identities. Terms such as American Indian or Native American encapsulate a diverse spectrum of cultures, languages, and histories. Each tribe has distinct traditions, showcasing the vast richness of indigenous heritage. Art, music, and literature continually evolve within Native American communities, reflecting both historical struggles and modern triumphs. Notable figures such as Jim Thorpe and authors like Louise Erdrich illustrate this ongoing cultural legacy. As we summarize this journey, we celebrate the resilience of Native Americans. Understanding their history enhances mutual respect and encourages conversations about rights and recognition. The journey of America, from indigenous tribes to modern nation. Have you ever wondered how a land of diverse native tribes transformed into a single nation? Let's explore the rich tapestry that is American history, a journey spanning centuries and shaping generations. The story begins thousands of years ago, with indigenous peoples thriving across the Americas. By the late 15th century, European explorers ventured forth, leading to colonization. In 1607, Jamestown became America's first permanent English settlement, marking the beginning of a new chapter. Colonization brought conflict. Indigenous societies faced unprecedented challenges from European settlers driven by economic motives. By the 1760s, conflicts over governance arose, amplified by the Intolerable Acts and rising tensions that ignited the Revolutionary War in 1775. During this time, George Washington led the Continental Army, securing vital victories. The Declaration of Independence was born in 1776, proclaiming freedom from British rule. The Treaty of Paris in 1783 confirmed the birth of the new nation, the United States. The new nation faced hurdles in establishing a government. Washington, alongside Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson, debated the balance of power. By 1789, the Constitution was ratified, and a Bill of Rights followed, setting the foundation for American democracy. As America expanded, driven by the desire for land, conflicts with Native Americans continued, often bloodily. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the nation's size, yet raised questions about the expansion of slavery. The Civil War erupted in 1861, pitting North against South over the issues of slavery and states' rights. After 4 devastating years and immense loss, the Union emerged victorious, leading to the abolition of slavery. The Reconstruction era followed, striving for integration of freed slaves into society, although many Southern states implemented oppressive laws like Jim Crow. The Gilded Age marked industrial growth, but corruption and inequality shadowed this prosperity. World War I saw the United States shifting from isolationism to becoming a key player on the world stage. However, the 1929 stock market crash led to the Great Depression, prompting Franklin D. Roosevelt's transformative New Deal. The next global conflict, World War II, propelled America into a superpower role. The aftermath reshaped international relations, leading to the Cold War, a struggle for power between the US and the Soviet Union. During these decades, civil rights movements gained momentum, challenging institutional racism and advocating for equality. The 1960s witnessed significant advancements culminating in landmark legislation like the Civil Rights Act. As time moved on, America faced new challenges: the Vietnam War, economic booms and busts, and a growing consciousness around social issues, including women's rights and LGBTQ+ rights. Fast forward to the 21st century, where events like the September 11th attacks reshaped national security policies and led to prolonged military engagements overseas. The COVID-19 pandemic significantly impacted daily life and the economy, adding complexity to modern challenges. America's journey continues to evolve, shaped by its history. Each event, decision, and social movement serves as a building block, crafting a nation rich in diversity and resilient in spirit. So, what's next for America? Join the conversation and discover how history continues to influence the present and shape our future. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful explorations of history.
Welcome to our channel. Disclaimer: this channel does not promote any illegal activities, and all contents in this channel is for educational purposes only. Our channel based videos promoting for educational tutorials, famous quotes of the world, biological, historical, and geographical facts, genius stories, and biography. Please follow or subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for more videos. Thank you.